Hello everybody and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Krista and this is Krista So Crafty. I thank you very much for being here if this is your first time. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we're going to be making a tomato pie. I've never made one before. My niece brags about them, says they are the most wonderful thing. So we're going to try it. Figure, you know what, we'll try it at least once and make sure, see if I'm going to like it. So pretty basic ingredients. Roma tomatoes are your key. Because they don't have as much juice in them. You need some, I'm using a red onion. Now I am using a frozen pie crust. If you want, you can absolutely make your own. And you know, normally I would, but I have some in my freezer. I bought some at Christmas time for the convenience and didn't use them all, so I need to get them used up. I'm also only gonna make one tomato pie, just because I'm not sure if we're gonna like it. So let's get going. I'm glad you're with me today.
So I'm just going to slice these all, put them onto this paper towel, and I'm going to put some coarse salt on them to help draw out the moisture, and I'm going to let them sit about 15 minutes-ish, and then we will continue on with this recipe. Now, I've never had tomato pie before. My niece swears by it, says that it is wonderful and that we are going to absolutely love it. And I'm going to trust her on that. You know, I'm willing to try it at least once. She made it the other day. I was supposed to make it with her and I didn't have what I needed. So I'm making it today. But come on, there we go. So I'm just about done with these. Now, I think what I need to do, I want to have 3 layers. That's what she did with hers, and it looked fabulous. So I think, no, these are Roma tomatoes. I don't think I told you that. Apparently Roma tomatoes don't have as much juice as other tomatoes. So I have some of these. If I do think I need more, I went to the store. They didn't have any Romas. Well, they had a big case of them and I didn't need them. So I did buy a couple other ones, but we'll see. So I'm just going to grab the salt. For those of you like me who've never made tomato pie before, you want to use like a kosher salt or a thick salt, and you want to sprinkle it, but you don't want to put a whole bunch because you are not going to be washing this off, okay? So that's all I'm going to do, is just a little bit on there, just enough so that it's going to help to draw out that moisture. I'm going to leave them here and I'm going to set it aside and we'll continue on. I am going to use some red, purple onion, whatever you want to call it. So I had some from the other night. We had hamburgers. So I'm just going to slice them in half because I left them in rounds for the hamburgers. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to slice them in half and just put them in this bowl for now, just so that they're ready. Oh, you know what I do need to do? I need to go and get the pie crust from downstairs and get it cooking. If you want to make your own pie crust, absolutely you can. I have a couple in the freezer that I need to use up. So I am going to go downstairs and grab that. And we're going to cook it in a 350 oven for 15 minutes or so. You just kind of want to par cook it. You don't want to cook it like all the way, but the last thing you want is a soggy pie. So I'm just going to do this real quick. And I need to cut that one more bit here. It's a little bit thick. So in my tomato pie, I want to put 3 layers of tomatoes in my pie. You know what? There's a little bit of white onion in here. I'm just going to use this up. And I will use all of this onion in the pie. There. That'll be good. That will be fantastic. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my boughten pie crust, still frozen. I'm just going to poke a couple holes on the bottom here and put it in the oven at 350. So we'll bring this over here. Turn our oven on to 350. And when that's heated up, I will pop this into the oven and we will cook it for 15 minutes. The one thing that I forgot to mention is fresh basil. I am going to use fresh basil with this. My niece did say that she's made it before and she's used the basil that comes in the tubes, you know. But I'm going to use the fresh basil because I was able to find some. And I don't think I'm going to need all of this. And it looks like it's seen a little better days, but just, oh, it smells wonderful. Oh, I'm going to pick off as many of these as I can. Some of them are just not the best, which is sad. Of course, this is definitely not basil season in my area of the woods. I'm from Canada. And we definitely have snow on the ground and won't even be thinking about gardens until, well, seeding or starting seeds and stuff, sure, but not putting anything in the ground till probably May. But I'm going to use, I think I'm just going to use all of this because what else am I going to do with it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a wash and then I'm just going to rough chop it. Oh, this basil smells absolutely wonderful. So I'm just going to bring this all into kind of a pile and just kind of chop it up a little bit. I want enough to be able to spread it amongst the 3 layers of my pie. Have you ever had tomato pie before? Is this something that you ate growing up or feed your family with? I've never, until my niece started making it, I'd never even heard of it. So definitely not something that I grew up with, but it sounds wonderful. I love onions. I love tomatoes. Basil smells amazing. I don't know. It's almost ready. So then we'll put our pie in. And like I said, we'll cook it for the 15 minutes. There we go. So I'm going to open this up. Now I do have a gas stove. Oh, I have a container in there. Hold on. All right. I'll take that out and put my pie crust in. And I'll see you in 15 minutes. Oops. All right, our pie crust is done. All right, so it's just lightly done, which is fantastic. So now we can start putting our pie together. Now that the pie crust is out, I am going to make the sauce, so to speak. I'm going to put in 3/4 of a cup-ish, about like that, of Miracle Whip. You can use mayonnaise if you like. I prefer Miracle Whip myself. And then in here, we are going to add 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. Now I buy these and I grate them up. And again, I'm gonna put in about a cup. So this was frozen. I'm just giving it a little squish. So probably about a cup of mozzarella. And I have old cheddar. I'm going to use that as well. And I'm going to put in a cup of old cheddar as well. I want to make sure there's lots of topping for this. And I'm also going to put in some freshly cracked pepper. Now I am not adding any salt at all because there's salt on the tomatoes. And I myself am not a fan of salt. But that's it. That's our mixture. So we'll just give that a stir. And this is what we're going to put on the very top of our pie. I mean, how can you go wrong with cheese, Miracle Whip? It's almost like a bacon and, well, it's got no bacon, but it's almost like a tomato and cheese sandwich. And of course, can't forget the onions. Now with the onions, because they were smelling very strong, I soaked them in some water. Now, I don't know if this really works, but I've been told that if you soak your onions in water for a bit, it takes away that pungent, that smell, you know, that really strong, like gets you in the eyes and makes you want to cry smell. I think, other than I need to get some paper towel, I'll scoot this over. I'm just taking some paper towel and I'm going to pat these dry. Trying to get off as much of that moisture and maybe even some of that salt as we can. Just like this. It's actually a lot of liquid in tomatoes, which I'm sure you know, but this just helps to take some of that out. Because the last thing we want is a soggy pie. Okay, and there's my oven ready, so I'm going to get this going and we'll get it in the oven. So I have everything all laid out here. So here's my pie shell. So we're going to start by laying tomatoes in no particular order. Just going to put them down here. Like so. I want one complete layer on the bottom here. And then I'm going to take some of these onions and spread it around. And I want them separated. Like so. And that's probably good. And then I'm going to come in with some basil. Oh, I just love this smell. It's such a beautiful smell. And then we're going to come in with another layer of tomatoes. I hope I have enough cut. I hope so. I think so. I think I do. Okay, and then another layer of onions. Now, of course, if you don't like onions, you can leave these out, but the onions are going to give you some amazing flavor. Because I love onions. And a few more here. Right down there. And then this can go on here. And I want to save a little bit for the top. Sorry, for the next layer. And here's our last layer going on. This just looks so pretty. I probably could have used one more tomato. But, so I'm going to go and slice one of those other tomatoes I had and dry it out real quick. I'll be right back. So I have this tomato and I've cut it. So as you can see, it's quite juicy. I'm going to take this, and I hope this will work. I'm just going to kind of squish on here. I'm going to grab another paper towel, I think, and just... I think this will work. I mean, it's just one little piece for on the top. I will cut this in half or maybe even in quarters. Okay, I think I'm just going to cut that out. That's a little centerpiece. Oops. And like that and like that. So I'll set these aside, and hey, might have a tomato sandwich tomorrow for lunch. So I'm just going to lay these in here. I think this will be fine. Like I said, it's not like the whole pie is this way. I don't think one tomato slice is going to ruin it. So that's that. Now I am going to put in some more more onions. And I'm trying to use as many of these purple ones as I can, because that'll give it a wonderful flavor. Yeah, that's looking so good. I am very excited to try this. Like I said, I've been hearing my niece talk about this for a long time, so I am excited to try this. Okay, that's enough onion. Let's put the rest of our basil down here. It's sticking to me. This is going to be so good. Is there any type of specialty foods that you guys like to make that is not, a regular dish? Because, I mean, you definitely never find a tomato pie in a restaurant. Well, I've never seen one. And now I'm going to put this on. The sun is going down at my house, so now I'm starting to get some weird shadows. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to put it on top. Kind of dollop it around. And then we're going to spread it all around. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I'll just take this spoon and kind of spread it around. You want to have the top of this totally coated in your sauce, so to speak. Just trying to get this everything coated. Trying to get this to the very edge so that everything is nicely coated. Some more over here. And yes, I did wash my hands. They are nice and clean. Oopsie, hit the camera again. Sorry about that. Yeah, just like that. And I think that looks so good. I think that's good. Get that little piece of onion tucked in there. Okay, so now my advice to you is to put this in the oven, but to put a sheet, I'm going to put a pie plate underneath of it. Wow, does that ever look yummy? So my oven is preheated, so I have a sheet in the oven already. I'm going to pop this in here. Make sure that it's over that. I have bread rising here for lunches, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer on my phone because I have the timer set here for the bread. But I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes and once it's done, it should be lightly browned on the top, and then we're going to let it sit for 15 minutes before we eat it. See you in a bit. Okay, timer says it's done. I did put it in for an extra 5 minutes. Oh, that looks fabulous. I need 2 hands. Hold on. Wow. I'm going to move this over here. Maybe. Wow, that looks so good. Oh, can you smell it? Anyways, I'm going to let it sit and rest for 15 minutes and then we'll cut into it and give it a try. All right, it has been 15 minutes. Let's cut into this and see what we think. It smells amazing, I'll tell you that. I hope it's half as good as it smells. Okay. Whoopsie, I didn't cut it all the way through here. Can you hear my tucks barking out there? Who knows? Who knows? Whoops. Well, there it is. It looks interesting. Now, as you can see, there is some liquid in the bottom there, so that might prove a problem later, but let's try it out. All right. Here we go, the moment of truth. Let's give it a taste.
The one thing I see right away is I think I'd want to cook up the onions first before putting them into this pie, just because I don't like them to be real crunchy. That has got some wonderful flavor. You can taste the onions. You can definitely taste the basil. So good. Gotta let my dog in. Hang on. You guys, this is really, really good. But like I said, I would definitely cook the onions first, just saute them. A lot of really good flavor. I'll just sit here and eat this. So, I want to thank you for joining me today. I really hope you give this recipe a try. It's fantastic. I will write out the ingredients down in the description below. And yeah, I really hope you give this a try. It is very tasty. Thank you again for joining me today. I'm Krista So Crafty. Happy crafting.